Today on 10-Minute IT Jams, we're joined by Stephen Cull, who's the CEO of Atturra. Stephen joins us today to discuss the current IT services landscape and recent Atturra developments and partnerships. Thanks for coming along, Stephen, and welcome to the Jam.
Yeah, thanks, Mitchell.
Fantastic. So to start off, for someone that's unfamiliar with Atturra, what are your key services and solutions?
Yeah, look, we're an advisory and IT services business. So if I start with our advisory business, we do advisory in government, all levels. So, local, state, federal, a lot of advisory around defence, national security, very strong in areas of kind of strategy, planning, business benefits realisation. And we have growing capabilities in some of the sovereign industry capabilities that the government's put out, things like autonomous systems, artificial intelligence, integrated air and missile defence systems, and information warfare. The advisory business also works with the large end of the enterprise town, predominantly in areas of kind of change management, risk management, and critical controls management. So that's kind of our advisory business. The other part of our organisation is obviously the IT services business. And we're market leaders in several key areas. So integration. So we probably have the largest specialised data and integration team in Australia. So we pretty much connect any system to any other system and really help companies make sense of their information and manage their information, which, as I'm sure you know, is a number one challenge out there right now. We've run well over 1,000 projects across many industry, pretty much connecting what people consider unconnectable. We also have specializations around decision support system. Once again, that's using the power of data to do proactive decision making. It requires a fair bit of kind of strong data scientist skills. We've got a strong Microsoft Dynamics business. And where we really specialize is we're probably the largest sovereign-owned Microsoft Dynamics practice where you need security clearances. Obviously, defense and government's part of that, but the need for security clearance is growing in a lot of those critical infrastructure businesses, things like utilities and manufacturing as well. So that's kind of our technology focus in our IT services business. But we also have a really strong industry focus as well. So for example, we've got over 100 local government clients really focused on business systems, business processes in there. We're probably the largest independent technology one consulting organisation. We have very strong Microsoft skills, very strong Infor skills around things like rates and rating systems, pathway and stuff like that. In manufacturing, we have over 70 manufacturing clients, all focused around the ERP systems, especially in that kind of configured to produce realm. And as I'm sure you'd be aware, there's a real move to kind of sovereign manufacturing and bringing more manufacturing onshore. So we've got a really strong presence in that space. And then probably the other one worth calling out is education, where we've got over 30 education institutions. Now we focus in that TAFE university space, not in the K-12 space. And we specialize in things like student management, scheduling, timetabling, kind of that core heart of the operation of those education providers.
For sure. And as you mentioned, throughout that, there's a lot of change currently in the IT services landscape, especially in the last few years. Where does Atturra fit into this?
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's been unbelievable, the change in the environment. I mean, just recently with Dialog being procured, so many multinationals have snapped up so many IT services players here domestically. I think that's bad for Australia. In the listed space, we're a listed organisation. There's almost no other IT services organisations left in the ASX. So I think that's pretty bad. So we're very, very united internally that there's a gap for a strong Australian advisory and IT services company. And I just think globally, right? If you're in New Zealand, you've got Datacom. If you're in France, you've got Capgemini. You're in USA, you've got IBM and Accenture. In Australia, we don't have anyone who kind of sits in that position. So we really believe that Atturra is the right organisation to become Australia's leading IT services organisation. And that's really boosted as well by our advisory capabilities. So we can kind of go the whole generation of a transformation. And the other thing you'll notice, kind of that strong focus on sovereign procurement, if you look at the industries we specialise, they're really, really citizen-centric. So if you think about what we do defence, we do government, we do manufacturing, we do utilities, we do education, we do financial services, so all kind of citizen-centric services. So we're really passionate about that and really passionate about servicing those industries. And what we see with all the multinationals acquiring the companies, that there's this huge shift now bipartisan shift to do more sovereign procurement and build local capability. And that's kind of where we see ourselves. We see ourselves as that genuine Australian alternative.
Yeah, and Atura's been signing up a whole lot of new partnerships recently. What was the strategy behind that?
Yeah, so we've probably been signing up partnerships. We've probably been announcing them more recently, but we've got a real clear focus around our industries and technology specialization. So we're always on the lookout for technologies that service those industries we focus, that can be niche or specialized. So we like to be kind of in that specialist category, or we like to pick technologies that are really high growth in a high growth segment. So kind of Boomi is probably a really good example. They're a leader in the iPaaS space. iPaaS itself is growing rapidly. Boomi is growing rapidly. So obviously to help us grow, we pick those high growth technologies. And that's kind of all wrapped around. We only do that if it kind of aligns with what our clients need, and things that give them a competitive advantage, because that industry focus means we can speak their language and help them drive their business and help them get their competitive advantage. So all the partnerships are about that. The only thing that's probably on top of that is we do have a bias to Australian technology companies as well. So we're always on the lookout for those kind of post-revenue, small, innovative Australian companies to help them grow and help them bring their technologies into our client base as well. And it's all about supporting the Australian industry.
Absolutely. And recently your half-year results showed continued growth in both revenue and EBIT since 2019. What's driving this?
Yeah, so the growth, a lot of growth has come through that industry and technology focus. So yeah, there's been a huge shift, I think, to sovereign procurement. So there is a desire to do more locally and more onshore. That's both at that government and at the commercial industry level. And then by picking some of those technologies that are in naturally high growth segments, we get to kind of a ride along with that growth wave. We have really, really good client retention and really good client satisfaction. Now, I'm really out there saying we're not necessarily the cheapest in the market, but we're definitely the best value in the market in terms of, for what clients engage us to do. We do it when we're going to we do it when we say we're going to do it, and we do it how we're going to do it. So yeah, we just find not having to go out and re-get clients that you've lost just helps that growth.
For sure. And there's a worker shortage at the moment. What's the key to the success of attracting talent?
Yeah, it's definitely probably the tightest labour market I've ever seen, and probably the tightest labour market ever for the technology industry. So look, there's a few things to it. I mean, obviously having a really good internal culture is critical, and I think we've got that. And we actually measure our kind of staff satisfaction, what people are feeling and believe on a monthly basis. So we send a survey out to all of our employees every month. More than 50% of them respond, which is an amazing response rate for a monthly survey that's been going for years now. And we actually use a great little Australian company called TeamGauge to help us do that. And then by addressing those concerns to the extent we can, I think helps keep engagement with the staff. And the other thing I've found, really, really strong, especially in the last year and a half, is a lot of people are really united against our vision about being that leading Australian sovereign organisation, and people want that for the country and they want that for themselves. And I think that's helped us attract talent. It's also helped us have lower turnover than a lot of other organisations in our sector.
Awesome. And just to finish off, if someone wanted to engage with Atura, what's the best way?
But the easiest way is probably just go to our website and do the contact us. But look, the reality is our culture. Just reach out to myself on LinkedIn, reach out to any of our management team, or actually just any employee on LinkedIn, and they'll get back to you and connect you in. So we've got one of the great things about our culture internally is fantastic communication, very flat organisation structure, and I'm pretty confident you can reach out to anyone in the organisation and they'll solve the problem for you, or just link in with me to LinkedIn and I'll follow up straight away as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Stephen, and we look forward to hearing more from Atura in the future.
Hey, thank you very much.